Hi everyone, Steve here with version 42 of Metro Retro Early Access release notes. I've got 5 items to take you through today, 2 of which are experimental features that are still behind feature flags, and mainly an update to the meeting creator. So, item 1. We finally got rid of the crappy menu that's behind the Start Meeting button and replaced it with this menu here, which allows you to choose 2 different types of meeting mode. So structured is the mode that you'll have been familiar with that you got to after you clicked through Quick Retro or whatever was there before. And this is pretty much the same. But we also have a freestyle mode, which is most similar to the old Metro Retro. It enables you to jump straight into a meeting and get going without setting up phases and like choosing all the stuff. So if I click it, it starts the meeting. The default title is meeting in progress. The default configuration is the retrospective tool collaboration tools. So basically kind of like play mode from the old tool. If you want to change anything, you can click on the title at the top, and we've added this menu here now, which enables you to change the timer, which defaults to off, but we can set it to 5 minutes. And then you can adjust that as you need, or you can turn it off. You can change the activity tools, so the title, and maybe you can like add or remove a tool if you don't want it to be there. And you can change the public-private function. You can manage facilitators from this view, which, yeah, you can change the facilitator. And you can end the meeting. With freestyle mode, you kind of have dynamic activities or phases. So you can add a new phase or new activity by clicking on the plus button. And let's say we've done with the start of the retro and we want to go to like voting. You would do this and set voting as a tool and click start activity. And that's moved to the next part. You can go back to the previous phase as you did before, or you can go forwards. The other change we've made is we have actually renamed phases to activities. I know I kept saying the word interchangeably there, but we've decided that phase is a little bit too boring and corporate sounding. So you now have a meeting that's made up of different activities, and they're essentially your phases. So you do like a voting activity, you do an ideation activity, etc. So we've changed the terminology there. Okay, that's it for number 1. Number 2 is that we've added show hide indicators to your sticky notes. So when your sticky notes are public or private, the mode is now of the sticky notes that are yours is shown at the top where the user indicator was or is. So this does 2 things really. One, it shows you more clearly that your sticky notes are private or public. And secondly, it highlights to you which sticky notes are actually yours when you're in this mode. So obviously over here I don't see the icon, and that's because these are owned by Pammy. But my sticky notes have this icon above, and I can show those and they change. I think it's disabled at the moment, but we are also adding the ability to hide and show individual sticky notes for situations where that's appropriate. And this will help with that because you'll have obviously some that are on and some that are off. Okay. Item 3 is that we've made some changes to the transformation of shapes and zones and other objects that have the net. Mostly this is just, we've made the actual thickness smaller, so it doesn't look quite as imposing now. It looks a lot cleaner. It will remove some nodes at certain zoom levels so that it's a little bit easier to see. We haven't updated the hitboxes on these yet, but I will be doing that to make this a little bit easier to use at higher zoom next release probably. The other thing we've implemented is mirroring of shapes when you resize. So in the old version v41, if you resized this shape this way, it would get stopped here and wouldn't resize anymore. That's now working, so you can basically resize these in different directions. It's a little bit tricky to do that because technically this transformation is identical to this transformation, And obviously this one updates the text, rotates the text, whereas you don't want the text to rotate if you do this. So we had to put in some special rules for that, which is why it took a bit longer. Item 4, we now have an experiment. So we're onto the experimental features. A stopwatch object. So if you don't want to use the timer at the top when you're in a meeting is kind of intended to indicate the time left in your activity time box, not really for saying you have 2 minutes to do this and then you have 2 minutes to do this. So for those use cases, we're working on a stopwatch object. At the moment, it doesn't have a menu button because we don't know where it's going to go yet, possibly into a facilitator menu, possibly into a components drawer. But for now, you bring up the command palette by pressing Control Space. And if you go to, if you just search stopwatch, it will bring up the create stopwatch command, and you press enter and you'll get a stopwatch on the screen. So this is an object on the board. Everyone will see it and it behaves the same as kind of a sticky note. You can move it around, you can't resize it. You can put it in things if you want and then move those things. But most significantly, it has 2 buttons on it, one that adds a minute to the timer and one that starts and stops it. And you can change the time by setting the field values here. And if I press start, this object actually has a timer sound, which might be really loud. I might add a volume control. And when it's complete, it does a little confetti sound and pops confetti. And then you press stop again, it'll start again. So you can use this for your kind of inter-activity time boxes. If you do use it, it'd be good to hear what you think of it. It is a little bit buggy at the moment, which is why it's experimental. Like if you can put letters in here, which you shouldn't be able to do, but that requires some changes to some abstractions. So for now, use it if you like. Let us know what you think of it. Item 5, and the final item is another experimental feature called task cards. Again, so this is not, you don't create this with the command palette, you can enable it. So if you type feature and run toggle task cards on off, you'll see a new tool available on the left. And this will also be available in your meeting creator as well if you enable it first. When you enable it, it enables it for everybody on the board and it enables it for this board. If you create objects and then disable it, the objects will still be there. So it's just really controlling the tool. And basically it works the same as every other tool. You create somewhere and it creates this little card. And this is meant for doing stories or tasks. And you've got a title and a body. You can put stuff... Ooh, wait, can you do that? No, you can't put stuff in it yet, but I probably will make that a thing you can do because that'd be cool. You can draw in it. So if you want to like draw a tick, or like if you got like, I don't know, draw something to indicate your dislike of a particular task. You can also put emojis on, just like the other stuff. And you can change the color if you want. So there's the whole color palettes there, and you can choose a custom color. So if I say like gold, there we are. Make a few more. So we've added this because we use our own tool for our story mapping and for our backlog and for our roadmap. We were building a roadmap recently and we were like, ugh, it'd be a lot better if we had a task card. So we implemented this pretty quickly one Friday and have been using it ourselves, but I wanted to open it up to anyone else who wants to give it a try. So again, if you do use this, it'd be good to get any feedback you have. This will probably form the basis of any sprint planning, grooming, refinement templates that we build, hopefully in the near future. So yeah, there we go, the end. Thanks for watching. See you next time.